According to the UN, the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in various parts of the globe continues to pose a systemic and pervasive threat to the long-term social and economic development of many nations. In 2007, Ghana established the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons to, among other things, prevent and combat the proliferation of small arms and light weapons and related materials in the country through advocacy, public sensitization, and formulation of appropriate policies in close collaboration with stakeholders. In a recent meeting with members of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, President Akufo-Addo urged them to pay more attention to the proliferation of arms and light weapons in Ghana. Now, let's hear the president again, then we can have a conversation on this issue. I'll be joined by Theodora Williams-Anti. She's Programs Manager for the Foundation for Security and Development Africa, and also by the Chairman of the National Commission for the Proliferation of National Commission on Light and Small Arms and Light Weapons.
As a result of years and if not decades of mismanagement, the funds and monies that should be available to the Ghanaian state are not there, so that organizations like yourselves, which are doing such important work, do not have the wherewithal and the means from the center, from the central government that you should have. But nevertheless, you have accepted this important challenge. To the extent that the modest means of central government allow, I want you to know that you will have the full support of this government. We're fully aware of the significance of the work. The chairperson, when he was making his introduction, talked about my own modest contribution when I was foreign minister in the elaboration of the Convention on Small Arms. But apart from the Small Arms Convention of ECOWAS, to which we are signatories and participants, I think there are about at least 10, 11, if not 12 other important international instruments to which we are signatories. Yes. And being bound. Some of them we have not yet domesticated into our laws. It's one of the problems that we continue to have in so many areas of our national life. We sign treaties and then they're forgotten. 10 years passes and no attempt has been made to make them part of our own municipal law. We're trying to put into being mechanisms that will make that kind of conduct a thing of the past.
President Akufo-Addo there, like I mentioned, I've been joined by the Chairman of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Forgive me for my earlier slip. Reverend Frimpong Manso, great to have you here. Clearly,
thank you.
There seems to be a huge problem that is not being fixed because we don't have money, or we are not pumping enough money into the fight against the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. What is the situation on the ground?
Thank you very much. About 8 years ago, Ghana adopted this Act 736, which called for the establishment of this commission. And this commission is made up of people from all the security agencies, the military, the GRA, of the customs, and immigration, attorney general, to mention a few. Our main responsibility is to help curb the proliferation of small arms in the country. And I want to tell you that we are doing the best we could as a commission, together with the Minister of Interior, so that Ghanaians will live in peace and quietness. Because without these things, just a minute, there won't be prosperity. But yes, it is a problem. And thank God for the opportunity given me to share with you and your cherished listeners some of the issues that we are facing.
So money is one of the issues that you're facing. How are you going about your work without receiving enough funds? Like the president said, he admits that you need money to do your work. And so how do you go about it without the needed funds?
Well, you know, in this country, not only our commission because of the financial and economic crisis. I would say that the government is doing its best, but to get enough funds, I'll call for all entities, because if the security of the nation is not intact, banks, businesses, institutions, and media houses, all of us will be at risk. I think some few months ago, if not about a year, someone was in his house or in a media house where he got shot. Jails are being broken, and so nobody's secured. I must say that funds is a challenge, but I must also say that the government is doing its best. I will not indict them for not doing their best, but I mean, it is not enough.
Yeah, but so I'm asking, how do you go about your work then?
We do, you know, as a pastor, let me say what you have. There is a man called D.L. Moody. He has said, do what you can with what you have at where you are.
So tell us what you're doing. Tell us how you're doing it.
You know, when we talk about small arms proliferation, know at least 3 areas where you need to work. First, porous borders, where people can bring it even from neighboring countries. 2, local manufacturing, you know, people who do manufacture them here. And 3, the arms within the country that are not licensed or registered annually.
We'll take them one after the other, but the president thinks that you, as a commission, you have paid more attention to small arms coming in from neighboring countries and not on local manufacturers.
I want to land there. In fact, that is, but actually, we have actually been doing a lot on the internal ones, but we are on the quiet, because some of these things, you don't come on air, you don't blow your horns, you don't make the noise. You know, the law allows blacksmiths to repair guns in this country. Because they are repairing these things, they have acquired the knowledge of manufacturing guns, some of them sophisticated ones. And you won't believe that almost at every robbery or every wrong thing, we discover local manufactured weapons. So we are engaging them. We have a group in Kumasi. We are trying to establish one in Volta region. We are also cutting all the regions.
But we know that one of the many places that's mentioned when we talk about manufacturing guns locally is in the Volta region. So I'm just wondering why, we know those places, don't we? We know the places, and I know that you work with security and intelligence as well. So I'm just wondering why it looks a bit, and even the president agrees, that we are not doing enough.
What I'm saying is that we are doing enough. We are not content with the president, but not enough.
Okay.
What we are trying to do, these people need to eat and they need to survive. And these guns have got market.
Okay.
Because every day somebody wants to fight. The chiefs want them in their armory, land guards want them, armed robbers want them here and there. So when there is a market and they are hungry and people will buy their products, they will manufacture. But what we are trying to do is to organize them to give them alternative livelihood. I have actually been personally discussed it with the Minister of Trade. If we can possibly even get 1D, 1F for them, so that we encourage them to produce things like machetes, pickers, shovels, things that will be good, plowshares, that will be good for agriculture, that will help them. Others are also arguing that why don't we really put them together, monitor, supervise them, and encourage them even to get proper weapons that will be registered, because they are not recognized. That's why this is happening. But I want to tell you that we are working, monitoring their activities, and there are certain things I cannot share here.
Because
you
of
come
security.
here, you share it, you destroy your strategies.
All right, Rev, I'll come back to you. We've been joined via Skype by Theodora Williams. She's Programs Manager for Foundation for Security and Development Africa. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, too.
Okay. Now, I want to believe that as an organization, you've also been monitoring what's happening with regards to proliferation of arms and light weapons in Ghana. Do we know what our current situation is from your angle?
Thank you. And good morning to your listeners. And I think we would like to say thank you to the President for bringing this issue to the fore. As civil society organization working in small arms, I think things have been quiet for a while. And we've been hearing about how many small arms, illicit arms are growing in the country, but we haven't seen much being done about it. So ask me what's this? I from the society point of view, will say that not much is being done in recent times. Like compare this time to the last 10 years or say just 5 years ago, there was a lot of work, sensitization, awareness rate, but it looks like now we've left ourselves for elections. So when elections are coming, then the small arms commission gets some resources to do sensitization, but that's nothing much happened.
The president has asked the commission to pay more attention to local manufacturers of small arms, and we've been talking about that, and I've been asking the chairman of the commission on what they're doing to do that. It appears dealing with that angle of the problem has received little attention, like the president says. What should we be doing? What should we do now to deal with that aspect of the fight?
Yes, in the meeting we held recently on that issue, you know, the debate has been raging whether we should legalize the production of small arms and regulate it, or just like the chairperson was saying, equip these manufacturers with livelihood skills so that they'll manufacture arms and cutlass. So it's a national debate we really have need. I don't want to prefer our point, but it's a national debate we have to have about where we want to take our arms production as a country. Nigeria has taken it up now. Do we want to take it up and be known as the arms production state, or we just want to push it, you know, in the background and people hiding their bedrooms and in their kitchens and producing arms for armed robbers? The issue also is the fear has been with Ghana and the implementation of laws. If we were to regularize this or legalize it, are we able to regulate it?
Good point.
You know, and we always don't have money for one thing or the other. And so if you are to legalize it, will we be able to really regularize it and make sure that it doesn't go overboard and doesn't become a security threat to us?
Okay, now
as a nation.
Now you brought in the Nigerian example, and the president did mention that indeed arms, you know, coming from African countries into Ghana and vice versa. How rampant is the movement of small arms from one African country to the other?
It was very rampant during the Libya. But for now, we haven't recorded many cases for now.
Okay.
In the past year or two. So we can't say it's so rampant for now, but our borders are porous, and the possibility is always so high.
So how can private citizens join this fight? We've heard of a national commission set up almost 9 years or 8 years ago. But as individuals, how do we help in dealing with the proliferation of arms?
Thank you. That's a very good question. As individuals, our help one is when we buy arms to get it registered, we shouldn't keep illegal arms. When you know that your friend or neighbor has an arm that is not registered, encourage the person to register. Go to the Small Arms Commission or the police and report it. We have to protect each other and make sure that all the arms in our systems are registered and categorized rightly. And then also, we really need to increase our voice and debate on the small scale producers of small arms. What we need to do with them, or what we have to do with them. We have to increase our voices on that regard. And we have to advocate for government to put in more money to security in this country.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Theodora Williams is Programs Manager with the Foundation for Security and Development Africa. She's been sharing her thoughts with us. Let me just wrap up with you, Rev, briefly. She mentioned some key things about how we fail with regulation of laws in Ghana. So there's a bit of hesitance if we say we want to create, for example, a factory for these local manufacturers so they produce for us. How sure are we that they will not go back into the bushes where they are hiding to also produce? But there's also the issue of people purchasing arms and registering them but not licensing them, which also means that it's not being regulated in a sense.
Thank you very much, but I must say that the previous speaker has done most of my work. The arms situation is not easy. Like everybody is saying, people are arguing, why don't we allow them to manufacture arms? But even the arms that we have, tracing has become difficult. I mean, there is what we call tracing, where every arm should be traced so that or marked, so we know where it is manufactured. We have a lot of guns in this country that have not already been traced. That's also a challenge. So to add this will be difficult. How do we get the enclave? And also to produce arms, it needs to be approved and recommended at an international standard where we haven't reached yet, but one day we can reach. But the problem is already, if you might not be aware, but recently we banned about 3,000 illegal weapons. About 90% were locally manufactured arms. So if we could legalize them and the people would stay within their boundaries and it could be well regulated, I will have no problem. But now I will not give such an advice from point of intelligence and what is on the ground.
How many guns do we know are registered, and how many of the registered guns are licensed?
This is threatening, if not alarming. We have about 1.2 million guns legally acquired and registered, but we only have about 40,000 guns registered annually. And from our point of view, when a gun is not licensed annually, it becomes an illegal weapon. Okay. So we know for sure that apart from those about 1 million plus guns that are not licensed, we have another 1.6 million, 1.2, something like that, million guns on license. To us, we don't know where they are located, who is keeping them, what condition they are in, whether they have been stolen or whatever. So that even poses more danger. The state is also losing money. 1 million guns, supposing every gun is licensed for even one city, it will be 1 million cities that the state is losing. And this is very, very serious.
You know, in the United States of America, recently there's been a lot of debate about gun control. They have gone, I'm sure, beyond the issue of whether or not we should allow private citizens. But now it's more of gun control. Do you see us getting to that point? Because it's scary. 1 million guns not registered, 1.2 million registered, but only 40,000 of them licensed. Will we get to that point?
Another danger that I want you to know is that individuals can run armories. In the United States and most of the countries, people are licensed to own, say, 1 gun, 2 or 3 maximum. In Ghana, there's no cabin. So today I can buy a gun, register it, tomorrow I can buy one.
But Reverend Frimpong, so you're also supposed to advise government on policy formulation. So what critical steps are you taking?
We are pushing for reforms on the Commission's activities and the gun laws. We are using 1972 laws enacted during the time of a champion, and it is obsolete. There are some things that are good, but generally, we, the Commission, feel, and we've actually informed the President, we are working with the Attorney General Department, the Ministry of Interior, the Law Reform Committee to make sure that our laws are transformed and reformed to meet the challenges of the 21st century so that we can all be more secured and safe.
And as we are talking now, it's possible that someone could be in a bush somewhere manufacturing a gun, and someone could be bringing guns or weapons into this country illegally. So how fast are we hoping to ensure that our borders are safe and to create the laws so that everybody feels safe and knows that no young boy somewhere is going to get access to a gun to come and cause confusion or mayhem anywhere?
As I have told you, our commission is made up of immigration officials, custom officials, the military, national security, immigration, all the various security agencies. And they are on the ground and they are working. But like the previous speaker said, we need all Ghanaians to get involved into this fight. Like we said, we should not wait for elections to come or religious conflict to come or traditional conflict to come or something to happen before we begin to tell people that guns are dangerous. Guns are always dangerous. Let me ask something which is very, very important to me. In Ghana, some people are acquiring guns for their security and safety, and they don't even know how to use them. Sometimes.
So how is that possible? How do we create a system that allows that?
Well, probably when we are reforming the laws that will come in.
Okay.
At the moment, every Ghanaian citizen can acquire a gun, but his condition and other things where the law is very gray. So you can have a gun, I can have a gun, put it in my room. Sometimes people are even afraid of having the guns. An armed robber can attack this person at night with a toy gun. Toys, and say, do you have a gun? And the first thing these people do is that they give this gun, pump action gun, pistol, rifle, to the armed robber. So you see how irony it is. They go out with toy guns, they come up back well armed to create more nuisance in the society. I would say that it is a serious situation. I thank God that the president listened to us and he gave us assurances. I want to involve the media, the traditional rulers, religious leaders, civil societies, all of us to combat and fight against the proliferation of our illegal arms in our country. They are there. They are in the system.
It's an interesting point that you make, because I was going to ask you as a reverend, how do we also tackle this from, the very smaller denominations and groups, instead of trying to have this more nationalistic approach, which is appearing to be quite difficult for your commission?
Very difficult. In fact, we've laid down a program and we are even meeting this week. We want to meet various entities. The media, probably we can reach you through GJ or whatever. We will have interaction with chiefs, Muslim leaders, and all civil society groups and tell them and work together. Yes, for the church, thousands of splinter groups, and it's difficult, but if there is the will, there will be a way.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Reverend Frimpong Manso is National Chairman of the Commission of Small Arms and Light Weapons. And we've been talking about your security and mine as well. And we've been encouraged to join this fight against the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. It is important that we join this fight. You're watching JoyNews Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidu Lansa. We'll bring you more Tuesday.